Good morning, culés. It is time to wake up and Barça. Live Barcelona news coming at you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on the Undefeated channel. Good morning to you all. In today's episode of Wake Up and Barça, we'll be discussing the elite contract demands, if you want to put it that way, of Lionel Messi. What's been the response from culés from around the world? Does this impact Messi's legacy, the perception of what he means to the club? Will it impact him returning to the club and how fans feel about that? We'll go over the details of the elite contract demands. We'll get your reaction. I, of course, will give my thoughts and opinions. And sidebar, we'll talk a little bit about those Asensio to Barcelona rumors because we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. All right. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can be part of the conversation. Participate in the chat with your fellow culés as we go over the FC Barcelona news and headlines of today. Again, we do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Wake Up in Barça. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and before we kick things off, hit that like button. It really does help out in terms of growing this channel, getting the feed on people's algorithm, showing up on their scroll there. So hit that like button and let's kick things off the right way, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning in to the undefeated Mustache John.
All right, intro is turned off, so we're gonna be mistake-free today. Probably not, but at least we've avoided that one. My friends, let's jump off today's episode by discussing the latest Messi drama. All right, international break coming up, so you knew there was going to be some ridiculous news coming out. You knew someone had something in their back pocket. I didn't see this coming though. So let's first kind of go over some of the details. All right, let's jump over to the Twitterverse. We'll get on El Partidazo de Cope here. This is from them quoting El Mundos. All right, well, let's go over the details. Translated into English, Messi's brutal demands from FC Barcelona to renew. Right off the bat, folks, let me pause. Right off the bat, coloring this story with the word brutal, describing his demands. Right off the bat, you're planting the seed for controversy. You're planting the seed for drama. You could just say, objectively, here's what Lionel Messi requested of the club. That's very different than the brutal demands of Lionel Messi. That's very different. So right off the bat, we're coloring this story, okay? Here's what it's looking at. 10 million bonus just for signing. Recover the pandemic cuts with 3% interest. Being able to leave whenever you want with a symbolic clause of 10 million. There's more as we scroll down. Got to translate this one as well. My Spanish just ain't that good. As we translate this one, the list of demands continues on. A private box at the Camp Nou for his family and that of Luis Suarez, his best friend. Flight in a private plane for the whole family at Christmas. And in the event of a tax increase, the club will take responsibility. Okay. Out of that list, I'll say one that stands out to me is recovery of the pandemic cuts with 3% interest. The 3% interest for me feels greedy, but outside of that one, those demands don't seem too outlandish. Okay, so let's provide some context to this story. Sitting here as a common folk, as most of you are, we can look at just Lionel Messi and say, private jets, millions of dollars, a place in the stadium, this and that. How ridiculous, how absurd, plus his annual salary. Oh my gosh, how gross, how brutal the demands are. We could say that. We could definitely say that. But if you zoom out a little bit and you take a look at the money the club was spending and where, and you look at how much they were paying Antoine Griezmann, Coutinho, Frankie de Jong even, alongside Lionel Messi, who is to say outperforming those players is one of the biggest understatements of the year. Griezmann and Coutinho should just feel honored to have been on the pitch with Lionel Messi. So you're watching Bartomeu hand out these huge contracts, these huge salaries to players that, quite honestly, like I said, should feel lucky to be on the pitch with you. So if you're Lionel Messi, you're telling me you're not going to make some big demands? You're watching what the club's spending on these I don't want to call them nothings, but Griezmann and Coutinho, we'll say flops, okay? You're watching the club spend money on these flops. You're Lionel Messi, you're going, okay, since we got cash to burn, apparently, we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on players. Tell you what then, give me a private jet, give me this, give me that, give me all the things in the world. It kind of makes sense, okay? Yes, holistically, I believe that there's too much money in sports. There's too much money in football. It's a little bit gross to see what athletes and clubs are able to earn and what happens and yada, 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 okay? But we don't need to go that meta with this, okay? When we just look at Lionel Messi negotiating his contract, let's be fair. So one, as I said, look at the money that was being spent around Lionel Messi at the time. And two, let's keep in mind that this is what he asked for in 2020. And then as we got a new president under Joan Laporta, under his leadership, Messi backs off of those demands and is willing to take the legal limit of 50% salary cut to remain at the club. So what is going on here that the headlines are all about Lionel Messi's demands and how absurd and ridiculous Lionel Messi is, and how he's no longer seen as this humble servant of the club, but now he's some sort of prima donna? You're only looking at 2020's contract demands. You have to then factor in the end result, which was a new president explaining to Lionel Messi that we can't do any of that, that we're pulling back on our spending, that we're cutting salaries. And Lionel Messi said, sure, I'll take up to 50% to stay at this club. So what is going on? How did this information get leaked? How is this going to damage his reputation at the club? Will it impact Lionel Messi's desire to come back to the club? Will it impact the fan base's desire to have him back at the club? For me, this seems like a smear campaign. You know what I'm saying? This seems like somebody is out to get Lionel Messi. Like we're planting the seeds for the Barcelona fan base to not be upset about Lionel Messi coming back. And the reason why I'm suspicious is because Joan Laporta is very clever with his marketing and how he manages the perception of the club. So what better way to deter any backlash on Laporta or Alemany or anybody for not bringing back Lionel Messi than to start damaging his reputation, than to start spreading the rumors so that coolists go, well, actually, you know what, guys, don't bring Lionel Messi back. And they go, oh, you don't? Okay, yeah, we won't bring him back for this or that. Just saying, conspiracy theories. Just saying. That's where I will pause. I will turn to the chat. I'll get my good mornings in, say hello to the Stash Squad, and I want to get your opinions. Whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on replay, let me know either in the chat or down in the comments. What do you think about this new Lionel Messi story popping up with these quote-unquote brutal demands being leaked? What do you think about the demands? What is your reaction to that? What do you think this does for Messi's legacy? And would you still have him back at the end of the 23 season? Let me know. We'll love to hear from you folks. All right, turn in to the chat. Good morning, Stash Squad. How's everybody feeling? Ovi, hello. Mark Levinson is with us. Mini Death, what's up, dude? Welcome back. It's good to see you again. Maxime is also with us. Says, no, not again. Thanks for everything, but you are a legend. But we are building something different. Here we go in MLS and walk. I'm not sure what that is in reference to. Sorry, I'm not picking up the context there. Ovi says, wait, is it afternoon there? If it is, in that case, good afternoon. It is not. It is still morning, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Here on Eastern Standard Time. Sem FCT is with us. How we doing, sir? Mark says, Messi shouldn't come back. He's too old for this team. We need a new generation. Tell that to Lewandowski. Good sir. Tell that to Lewandowski. Messi Goat says he couldn't play for free. He had to play for 50%, but Barca could not even afford the 50% at the time. That is true. That is accurate. La Liga rules stated that a player cannot take any more than a 50% pay cut. That's what Lionel Messi was willing to take, but he was making, 73 million euros a year, something like that. So even chopping that in half with the other inflated salaries that we had, couldn't keep him. And that's Joan Laporta's story. That's the club's official story. But I'm telling you, there will be a Netflix documentary 30 years from now that comes out where we learn the true saga of how Lionel Messi went to PSG, a la the Luis Figo to Real Madrid story. Just saying. We're waiting for that. We are waiting for that. There is a poll going on live right now in the chat. Do the details of Messi's contract demands negatively affect his legacy at Barca? Yes or no? It's up to you to decide. We'll check in on that at the end of the episode, but make sure you get your vote in. And while you're doing that, hit that thumbs up button. Really does help out the channel. Easiest way to show your support. Smash that thumbs up. Puts a smile on my face. Obi says, nicely said, Sensei. These were Messi's demands when he felt like a prisoner being held by Bartomeu, so it makes sense. That's a good point. I forgot about that context as well, is that Messi wanted to leave. He wanted to go to Man City. He was this close to doing so. Everybody forgets about that part of the saga as well. My. Greg, how we doing? Says, time zones are crazy, huh? Yes. The earth, the sun, all the things, depending on what you believe. I'm not getting into that. Anyway, BSDK, how we doing, sir? Sem FCT says, I think Messi should only come back if he agrees to play a rotational role like Xavi in 2015 or our captains last and this season. Yeah, I think it could work out in this sense. Lionel Messi takes a rotational role. It's easier on his body because he's going to be 35, 36 at the time. 35. He'll be 35 at the time, so it'll be easier on his body. He's there to help mold and shape not just the locker room, but the youngsters coming up, their game on the pitch. He'll influence in that way. And then he'll be there for the big matches. We get to repair our relationship between club and Lionel Messi. We can treat him right. We can send him off the way that he should have been sent off at the end of that year. I think it works as long as the salary can fit in, as long as, I'll say this, as long as the players around him can still be themselves, as long as the players around him don't immediately start looking for Leo when they shouldn't. Towards the end of Leo's time at Barcelona, there'd be players that are one-on-one with the keeper, free breakaway, and they'll stop and be like, wait, where's Leo? I need to pass it to Leo. So we can't have that. We can't have the regression back to that type of play. We're playing good team football right now. We got to keep that up. We got to keep that trend going. So will Lionel Messi be able to come back and fit into that? That's the question. I say yes. I think we owe it to him. I think Lionel Messi come back, get one more Champions League. Perfect scenario. He wins the World Cup. He comes back to Barcelona, wins the Champions League, and he hangs up his boots. Or he goes to MLS for a couple seasons, and I go see him at TQL Stadium here in Cincinnati when they play FC Cincinnati. Maybe that happens, Either way, I would still take Lionel Messi back at the club. I don't think his demands were that absurd for the timing, or excuse me, for the money being spent at the time, the contracts being offered, the transfer fees going out, and the fact that he wanted to leave. Like, maybe that was a joke contract of like, yeah, I'm going to ask for the moon just so they say no, and then I go to Man City. You know what I'm saying? Got to factor all that in. Anyway, Mark asks, Messi and Lewandowski playing together. Would love to see that. I think it'd be a good combination, but who knows? Lewandowski might not stick around that long. Everybody has to kind of, depending on how many trophies we get and whether or not Lewandowski gets the Ballon d'Or, will dictate how long Lewandowski stays at Barcelona. All right. If he pulls a Thierry Henry and gets all the trophies in his first season, plus gets a Ballon d'Or for it, I'd say Lewandowski maybe has one more year and then he hangs it up. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Sem says, well, it looks like there's a debate going on right now about who the plastic fans are. Gene Nam says, I'm sorry, John, but your arguments about Messi aren't exactly fair. When Dembele had certain demands because we spent so much, you said you should look at where we are spending, but rather blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, the demands came before we actually knew the state of the club. Yeah, exactly. Gene, you just kind of argued yourself out of your point. Comparing Messi's demands to Dembele's demands, not the same situation, okay? Messi's demands came at a time when we were still overspending. This was still under the leadership of Bartomeu. That's when Messi made those demands, okay? Dembele, after spend and it's Lionel Messi, okay? Dembele, after spending 5 seasons on the bench injured and barely producing when he played, comes in and asks for a salary that is almost double anybody else on the club besides Frankie de Jong. Different story. And then wanted to hold out so that he would become a free agent and go into the open market. And then learned, oh, nobody else wants me. Whoops. I guess I better come crawling back to Barcelona. So because of the timing, because of the different president, because of the context of what was going on at the club at the time, very different situations. So while I'm open to feedback, and sometimes I am wrong, sometimes I'm hypocritical, sometimes I'll argue against myself, I feel no hypocrisy for slamming Dembele all last year and backing up Lionel Messi. I don't see any hypocrisy in that. Anyway, Maxime says, rather bringing Braithwaite back than bringing Messi back. Get out of here. Get out of here. Mendo, how you doing, sir? Says, I'd bring Messi back, but he will not play 90 minutes. Being a starter or coming off the bench will be ideally. Yeah, like I said, rotational player. He doesn't need to play week in and week out. Save him for the big matches. He'll be there in the locker room. He'll be there helping develop the young players. I think it'll be good things. Gene says, besides the status, expecting people to think of the club ahead of themselves should apply to everyone. Besides, you could argue that Dembele has nowhere near the wealth that Messi had. Bro. The argument of, poor Dembele, he doesn't have the same millions and millions of Messi. That's because he's not Messi, bro. That's because he's not Messi, okay? I understand the argument of every player needs to look out for themselves. Every player needs to be selfish and get the most that they can and this and that. That's great. That's totally fine if that's what you value. I don't. I don't value that. I want players that put the club first. And I understand that if the club isn't run correctly and you take advantage of those players that are club first, things go awry. The culture falls apart. There's no trust between players and board. It's happened, okay? When you have trust between players and board, then the board offers a reasonable contract. The players recognize that it's reasonable for their talents and for what the club can afford, and you make a deal. There's no justification for Dembele asking for what he asked for. That's the problem. If Dembele would have performed up to expectations over the last 5 years, then asked for the money that he was asking for, cool, you deserve it. And if we can't afford it, go get it somewhere else. But he tried to hold the club hostage for 6 months, knowing full well that there were no other offers on the table. Chelsea, PSG, Man United, Juventus, none of that was real. None of that was real whatsoever. So Dembele is holding out, making contract demands, making salary demands, asking for wages that he does not deserve, that he did not earn, and trying to hold the club hostage. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi deserves everything that he asked for, even if it's absurd. Lionel Messi actually deserves what he asked for. Dembele does not deserve what he asked for. That's really the split for me. Messi deserved it, but the club couldn't afford it. Dembele doesn't deserve it, and the club can't afford it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. Ovi says, guys, please don't forget the fact that Messi demanded those demands from Bartomeu after the Anfield and Roma when he had no motivation to play for Barca anymore. Those demands under those situations. Plus, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The timing of it all. So, comparing Dembele to Messi and trying to get Dembele off the hook, absolutely not. Absolutely not, my friends. Doesn't fly for me. Sorry. Vile Inc., how we doing, sir? Says Messi can demand $1 billion because it's Messi, as simple as that. We don't got to accept it. Fair enough. You feel me? That's what I'm saying, Vile. That's exactly what I'm saying, is that Messi's demands can seem ridiculous, but that doesn't mean that he didn't earn it, that he doesn't deserve it, okay? The one that I question is asking for interest on the salary cut, or excuse me, the deferred wages, asking for interest on the deferred wages. That one for me, sure. However, Messi earned it. Messi deserves it. We just couldn't afford it. That's the difference. Dembele, that's really what it is for me. It's Dembele's perception that after sitting on the bench for over 40% of the matches, okay? Let me just say that again. For over 40% of the matches that Dembele should have been available for in his first 5 years at the club, he was injured or unavailable. And then you come in, you're like, oh, double my wages. Yeah, go ahead and double my wages. Oh, by the way, also, why don't you pay tens of millions of dollars to my my agent here and my manager, and then I'll take a sign-on bonus as well. Get real. I'm very happy that Dembele is performing right now, but since we're getting into it, you guys got to understand, he signed a 2-year contract. Rafinha is waiting in the wings to steal his spot. Dembele has this year, and this year alone, to prove that he is the future right wing of Barcelona. If he does not stay healthy and outperform Rafinha, then this summer, Dembele will be gone. We're not going to go into next season with Dembele on his last year of his contract just to go through this same saga again. It's not going to happen. Nobody's talking about this, so you heard it here first, friends. Dembele, if he does not outperform Rafinha this season, will be gone in the summer. Guaranteed. Dembele, if he gets a long-term injury this season, will be gone in the summer. Guarantee it. Dembele, if he does not sign a contract extension early in the summer, will be gone by the end of the summer. Because we're not going through the same saga. We're not going through what we went through 6 months ago. It's not going to happen, friends. All right? My goodness, I thought we were over this. I really thought we were over this. Gene, I think you made your point, my dude. I appreciate the conversation, and please do leave comments after so you can put more in, you can articulate your argument further. But I'm just telling you, you're not. I will hear your arguments. I have doubts that you'll be able to convince me that Dembele's right and Messi's wrong, or that Dembele should be forgiven if we're going to forgive Messi, because it's just not the same situation. It truly is apples and oranges, okay? And I know that's a silly cliche to say, because people will be like, well, you can compare. You can like compare the taste and blah, 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 and this and that. Sure. Yes, you can compare apples and oranges, but to say which is better, you can't, because one is apples and one is oranges. Okay? Either way, not the same situation. Messi earned everything that he asked for. Dembele did not. Did not whatsoever. Anyway, Kudus, my man, coming in just at the right time, putting in a smile on my face. And Ayush, let's go. All right, we're getting it. We're getting the stash mods in. Calling Kyle Cash. Is there a Kyle Cash in the building? Get all the stash mods in here. Okay. Now, let's calm things down a little bit. I was not ready for that. I was not expecting somebody to come in and start telling me that I'm wrong for supporting Lionel Messi, or for at least looking past these contract details when I was so harsh on Dembele. Wasn't ready for that. Got a little bit triggered, but I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the questions. Conflicting opinions are welcome, okay? Healthy debate is always a good thing. Anyway. Ayush and Kudus, how y'all doing? I hope everybody's having a good day. Kudus is right. Let's take a moment, hit that thumbs up button, smash those likes. Let's see what we're at right now. If I go to the correct page, take a little hit on my coffee here. We're only at 14 likes, my friends, and we got 26 people hanging out right now. So let's just take a moment. Let's at least get it up to 20. We can hit 20 likes. I feel very confident in that we can hit that thumbs up button, get those 20 likes going as the conversation continues with our fellow Kool-A's. Zane says, sometimes it is hard to believe people discuss about Messi in these types of topics. In saying in general, I know you would not say wrong. Greg says, to use another example, this would be like if James McAtee, a young midfielder from Man City, went to the club and demanded to be the same wages as Kevin De Bruyne. They're not on the same levels. Amen to that. Burps. I got burps coming up from this coffee. Shout out to Ember. Shout out to the Ember company. Excuse me, let me say that again. Shout out to the Ember company for keeping my caffeinated beverages nice and warm. Not a sponsor, but hey, maybe one day. That's an avenue that we can explore. Coffee, tea, products, and accessories, as this is a predominantly morning news show. We do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually 7 a.m., but I've been mixing it up. I've been sleeping in a little bit. It was hard coming back. I took a trip out to the West Coast, so jet lag, rolling the clocks back, all those things. I'm a little bit off tilt, so I've been doing these shows later in the day, and I do appreciate the feedback too. You can let me know whether you like it at 7 a.m., starting your day off, or you like it a little bit later in the day, or maybe in the evening. Maybe we do some evening shows as well. BSDK with the donation. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you, sir. Of course, all donations right now go to growing the channel, whether it's marketing or software or tech that I need. So thank you very much for the appreciation, thank you very much for the donation. I really do appreciate it. BSDK. And he asks, do you think CR7 is better than Messi? Come on, bro. You know the answer to that. Get out of here. Kuda says the stash blend, bold and refreshing. Oh my gosh. Some coffee brand out there. Somebody clip this out, send it to your favorite coffee distributor. We got to come up with a stash blend. We can call it the Secret Stash, spelled S-T-A-C-H-E. The marketing is there. I already see the packaging. It'll be gorgeous. Somebody make that happen. Somebody make that work. Greg says, when you selling those cups, John? I should probably, right? I should start my own little Amazon, what's it called? Where just you click my link and then you guys get to buy stuff on Amazon. I can do mugs and whatnot. I don't know what else. That was one of the things for this year that I needed to get to, and I haven't yet. I want to get some merch. For y'all. Memberships that will probably include Discord, some merchandise, and some more collaborations too. Those are things that I'm focused on, but I'm dragging my feet a little bit. Life gets in the way sometimes, but I love when you all support me, give me those ideas and the encouragement to keep going with those. I do appreciate that. Over you talk. Who are you talking to about with the nice name? Are you talking about me? Ayush says, this time suits well for my schedule. I travel back from home for this. Well done. Okay, I love it. Messi Goat says, the muscular mustache John, why do you think Ronaldo is better than Messi? Good one. Good one, Messi Goat. Kuda says, still waiting for the stash grooming comb to drop. Stash and beard products. I can do hair products now at this point, right? I mean, it's long enough. It's flowy enough. I think I could do hair products, facial hair, of course, any soccer-related products, maybe some training gear, that kind of thing. I could do some videos of different soccer workouts that I have done in the past. We could do all those things. Absolutely. What else we got going on? Just a reminder, folks, we are all here for good conversation, all right? If you like good football, good conversation, this is the place. Let's keep it civil in the chat. We're going to have disagreements. We're going to have healthy debate. Let's not make it personal. So no name calling, no personal insults, okay? Articulate your arguments. That's what I want you to do. I want you to think through what your points are, then respond. We don't need back and forth negativity. That's not what we're looking for on this channel, all right? We're building a community of people from around the world. Most of us culés, all right, comes with the territory. But we've got Liverpool fans, Man United fans. We've got Chelsea fans. We've got Bayern Munich fans. We've got, who else? I know we've got Real Madrid fans in here that stop by from time to time, all right? So it does happen. You don't have to be a Barcelona supporter, but you got to have the ability to have civil conversation even when there's conflict, okay? We can disagree, we can debate, but let's not turn negative. There's every reason in the world for us to have conflict, for us to hate each other, but we don't actually need to, all right? So this is a space for us to come together, focus on the positive. We support the badge, we support each other, what we do here on this channel, all right? So let's keep it civil in the chat, my friends. Anyway, Austin, how we doing, sir, says, I'm back after a break, almost 2 months. It is good to see you. Glad to have you back. Hope you're doing well. Kudus reminding everybody that Kyle Cash is a Man United fan. Young Cow says, Leicester City. Glad to see it. That's one of my favorite Premier League years of all time was Leicester City. What was that, 2015 or 16? I should remember the year. I'm going to say 2016. Could be wrong. Let me know it in the chat. But that was one of the most enjoyable years just as an impartial fan. Greg says, John, I'm looking for future teams to play as in FIFA. How much of a rebuild would FC Cincinnati need? Actually, they are in the midst of a rebuild. They've got Acosta, who's, I think, up in age right now. But they have Barreal, who is a tricky Argentina winger. They have Brenner, who is a young Brazilian striker. They have Vasquez, who is a young American striker right now. Those two forwards, along with Costa, last time I checked, were up in the top in terms of trios for goals and assists. So I know nobody else cares about FC Cincinnati. But we also have defensively Matt Miazga, the young American center back who was owned by Chelsea, loaned out for a few years. Now he's at FC Cincinnati. So if you're looking for a FIFA team to build up, FC Cincinnati, you could do a lot worse. You could do a lot worse. Let's ask this too. Would you all be interested in me getting back into some FIFA? I've been considering lately picking up a PlayStation 5, getting the new FIFA when it comes out. But if I do, I'm going to want to do some streaming, some content with that. I'm not going to do much Ultimate Team. It's not going to be pack opening. None of that jazz. I'm not going to spend a single dollar in terms of building an Ultimate Team. It's not going to happen, all right? I've been down that path. It's soulless. What we'll do is a career mode. Either a player will build Mustache John, or I'll be a manager, and we'll see what clubs I go to. But would you be interested in that? What if once or twice a week we did a live stream where we're hanging out, I'm playing some video games, and we get the chat going, we catch up on things. What do you think? Would you be interested in FIFA comments or FIFA content? If I could say words, that would help. That would probably be better content if I could actually say words. Anyway, I'm seeing yeses in the chat. Okay, we'll consider it. We're gonna consider it, folks. Quick reminder, since this is all about Lionel Messi, we do have a live poll going on. Do you think the latest details of Messi's contract demands negatively affect his legacy at Barcelona? Yes or no? Get your votes in the chat. Live poll going on right now. Greg says maybe a road to glory long term. Here's the thing. Here's what's funny about Ultimate Team. Whether you spend a bunch of money or you don't, by the end of the season, you almost end up with the same club. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't want to get into it. We'll maybe do a separate stream where I just give my take on FIFA Ultimate Team. I played FIFA for the last 20 years. For the last 20 years, I've been playing FIFA. At one point in time, when I was 16 years old, so this is 18 years ago, I was 25th in the world, 5th in the US, ranked online for PlayStation's ratings. Okay, I don't know how many people were playing on PlayStation at the time, playing online. This was the early days of online gaming. Early days of online gaming. So I've been around the block, and I have some pretty strong opinions about where EA Sports has taken that brand. But I think that's conversation for another day, my friends. Conversation for another day. Anyway. Oh, you meant Road to Glory in career mode. I'm down with that. Oh, he says the Stash Sensei journey on FIFA 23 from a Barça Academy player to Ballon d'Or winner. I would probably have to start, if I was going to do a player career mode, I would probably have to start here in the MLS, right? I actually haven't done a FIFA career in so long, I don't know where you start. Do you start as an Academy player, or do you get to pick your club? You probably get to pick your club, I'm assuming. I don't know. Ayer says it doesn't need to be FIFA games only. You can also play other games, Fall Guys, etc. Ask in the chat, do we agree? And look, there's Rignat. How we doing, sir? Leatherface says, why not Football Manager? I have not played that. I don't play a lot of video games, to be honest. I'll go months without really playing anything. FIFA has been one that I've kept up with. I do have a couple of friends that I'll connect with like once a month or so, and we'll just kind of do a video game gauntlet. Old school games included. But we'll see. But I'm glad to get that feedback. I think what I'm hearing from the chat is more content. Doesn't have to be FIFA, doesn't have to be Barcelona. I'm hearing more content on the Undefeated channel. So I appreciate that. I definitely do. We have, yes, we do. We have one more story that we want to get to. I digressed big time there. We chatted about Lionel Messi and his contract demands. I want to quickly touch on these rumors. Fabrizio Romano shares that Marco Asensio tells Partidas Zocopa, whatever those words are. Partida Zocopa. Is that how you say it? Partidazocope. I don't know if I'm an idiot. I don't know if Barcelona wants me. There are rumors on many clubs. It's normal. Can you say I'll never play for Barca? And Asensio's response, I've never thought about future at Barca. I have not valued it, so don't know right now. I can't answer. People are going to blow this up. People are going to act like, oh my gosh, he's going to be the next Figo. Asensio to Barcelona. It's happening. He said it. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Let's all freak out about this. Everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Calm yourselves. This is nonsense. This is pure nonsense. Nobody's buying this. Okay? He's not coming to Barcelona. If anything, he's just stirring up some controversy, get some eyes on him. Maybe that helps him in the transfer market. Who knows? In terms of his marketability, I don't know. But for me, Asensio to Barcelona, while he is a quality player, I will give him that. I very often will throw shade and have a bias against Madristas. But for me, Asensio, I rate him. He's quality. If something happened to where he did land at Barcelona, I'd be curious. At the same time, I think we have enough wingers. I think Lionel Messi is going to come back ultimately next season. And I don't think Asensio actually wants to be the guy who goes from Real Madrid to Barcelona to be the next Figo. Despite his Spanish nationality ties with what is becoming a Barcelona/Spain team that Asensio is a part of, despite those ties, I don't actually see it. If it happened, cool, but I don't see this one actually coming into fruition. Let me know your thoughts. Agree, disagree. 1, would you accept Asensio coming from Madrid to Barcelona? And 2, do you think it's going to happen? Let me know. We'll keep the conversation going. Again, if you're watching this on replay, let me know down in the comments. What do you think about this Asensio conversation where he's not ruling out Barcelona? What do we think, folks? Rinyat says, good. Remember, yes, I remember that. Varun says, what are the details on his contract? I missed the news. Varun, you'll have to jump back and catch the beginning when the stream ends, my friend. That's another thing I need to ask the chat, and I'll continue to get some feedback on that. Do we want to have a little bit of time where, excuse me, I'm not speaking clearly. When I have these shows, Wake Up in Barca in particular, do you want a countdown before the stream starts? Meaning 10, 15 minutes of going through the slideshow with some music going on, lets everybody kind of come in, get settled in, start the conversation, then I start the show? Or would you rather me start the show within a minute or two of the scheduled start time? So just as example, if the stream is scheduled at 7 a.m., do you want me on camera starting at 7 a.m., or do you want there to be a little bit of lead time? 5, 10, 15 minutes of some music, some slideshow, let people get settled in, then I start the show. Which would you rather see? That's a question that I would love to hear back from. Young Cow and Ayush saying shorter countdown, start the show. Okay, I appreciate that. Sahil says, John, jersey looking perfect on you. Thank you very much. This one does. I didn't think I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't think I was going to love it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a nice kit. I got Busquets on the back. Nice, dude. Club legend, legendary kit. Might be my favorite home kit. The 2020 kit is also nice, the one with the gold collar. I like that one. Got Serginho Dest on the back, which is not looking like a legacy kit after all. First U.S. men's national team player to debut for Barcelona, so we got that. But yeah, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Obi talking about Asensio here says, actually, we don't need any winger right now. Even Ferran, our $55 million signing, is being wasted on the bench. So for me, no for Asensio. Good point. Good point. Anthony calling for a 10-minute countdown. Ayer says 5 to 8 minutes max. We'll see. We're going to play with it. We're going to continue to play with it. I got some feedback from my buddy George over at Bayern Now that I need to cut that out. So since then, I've been trimming that out, just doing a minute or two to get things started. So thank you, George, for that feedback. Shout out to Bayern Now. If you guys want to check out his channel, he covers all things Bayern Munich. We do have another tie with them coming up later in October. So Bayern Now on YouTube. Check him out when you get a moment. Beyond that, Leatherface says there's a lot of Barca fans who appreciate Busquets, so respect to you. Well, thank you, Leatherface. Respect to Busquets. Hair out of the way. My hair's so long it covers the back now. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Anyway, folks, I think that is going to just about do it. We got an international break coming up, but we are going live this Friday. Probably going to be early. Either that or, yeah, probably early. Probably do an early one, but we'll see. All right, I'm shaking things up a little bit. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications so you know when we are going live, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live Barcelona news on Wake Up in Barca right here on the Undefeated channel. International break, like I said, but then Barcelona have a big October coming up. I'm going to try to get somebody to come on either Friday or do a bonus stream over the weekend to talk about the upcoming fixtures in October, talk about what is Barcelona's current best 11. So we'll see. Might be a familiar face, might be somebody new, but I'm going to try to get a guest on either Friday or do a bonus episode this weekend. If you have somebody in mind that I haven't collaborated with yet and you want to see them on the channel, tag them down in the comments. Let them know that you want them to collaborate with the undefeated Mustache John, and we'll do our best to get him on the channel. Outside of that, we're going to wrap things up. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Go out and have positive interactions, high fives, and hugs for whoever wants them. I will see you Friday for Wake Up in Barca. Before you go, make sure you have dropped a like, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications, all the things that every YouTuber says. You know how it goes. I'll see you Friday, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking a ride. Mwah.